Duchenne muscular dystrophy. My brother, who is now 16, is one of thousands of boys with a condition called Duchenne muscular dystrophy, or DMD. He is one of the lucky ones to have been able to walk until 14, but he lost his ability when he broke his femur. The 10 weeks he spent between the hospital and his bed allowed him to lose enough muscle to never walk again. The disease may bring families closer together in ways that also takes a toll on each member involved. For a parent to hear their child ask why this happened to them or why they can't be like the other kids is tragic. Even my own brother has asked why he wishes that he could be normal. I remember the days when we were young and carefree and chased each other around the yard, but because of Duchenne, these are only memories. The following information is cited from organizations and expert research studies, including the Muscular Dystrophy Association, and similar organizations who are working diligently to discover a cure for this disease. The organizations spread hope and awareness and improve the lives of those boys with Duchenne and other muscular dystrophy disorders. Duchenne is a progressive muscle disease with no known cure that leads to premature death. The cause of DMD was unknown until 1986, when researchers discovered the dystrophin gene. It's linked on the X chromosome. Dystrophin is important to stabilize muscle fibers and expresses through cardiac and skeletal muscle, and also parts of the brain. Mutations of the exons within the dystrophin gene lead to eventual cardiac and respiratory failure. Although rare, DMD is the most common genetic disorder, affecting primarily boys. Until recently, the life expectancy of boys with Duchenne was only into their teen years. But improved treatments and the use of corticosteroids, including Emflaza, have helped extend their lifespans into their 30s and 40s and 50s. There are 79 exons in the dystrophin gene, and the flaws within them interrupt the translation of mRNA. According to Falzerano et al., the deletion of one or more exons is 65% of Duchenne cases, with 6 to 10% consisting of duplications and 10% consisting of small mutations. The loss of dystrophin due to these flaws is the cause of muscular dystrophy. My brother, for example, is missing exons 45 to 52 as a result of exon deletion. Because DMD is linked to a flaw in the X chromosome, the disease is passed to the mother. Women rarely develop DMD because they have 2 X chromosomes, and the second X chromosome is usually capable of compensating for the defects of the other one. Carrier females, while not having the disease, can experience muscle-related symptoms. In the case that there is no family history of Duchenne, it can also be caused by spontaneous mutation in an egg cell. While 5 is the average age of diagnosis, symptoms can present as early as 2 to 3 years old. Not present at birth, these symptoms progress through the years. In looking for the initial symptoms, boys with Duchenne may be slower to move, frequently fall, and have trouble running and jumping. According to the Duchenne website, as symptoms progress, boys may walk on their toes with their legs apart and their bellies out, as well as develop enlarged calves. Approximately 1 in every 3,600 to 5,000 boys are diagnosed with Duchenne, and many of these boys will become wheelchair-bound by the age of 10 to 12, and 90% of them by the age of 15. Multiplex ligation-dependent probe tests are used to diagnose DMD, testing all 79 exons for any flaws. The cell damage is irreversible and spontaneous. Duchenne can also be characterized by speech delays, learning disabilities, behavioral problems, and abnormal fatigue. Neuropsychiatric studies have shown that neurodevelopmental disorders are prevalent in Duchenne boys. These disorders include autistic spectrum disorder, or ASD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, and obsessive-compulsive disorder, or OCD. As dystrophin has shown to play a key role in brain development, a lack of dystrophin affects the ability of neurons to share important information and transmit messages. This affects memory, learning, speech, attention, and the intellectual abilities of boys with DMD. According to Riccoti et al., studies show that 37% of the boys showed more than one symptom of neurodevelopmental disorders, and 37% showed no signs at all. While there is no cure for Duchenne, 3 of the treatments currently in development are gene therapy, exon skipping, and nonsense mutation. Genetic research and animal trials are vital to finding and testing treatments, earning approval from the FDA, and possibly finding a cure. In Duchenne research, 2 animal models are widely used to test methods of disease management: the golden retriever model and the MDX mouse model. Mice, hamsters, and chickens were the original focus, but their misal myopathies were autosomal and not genetically linked to the X chromosome. Gene therapy uses a recombinant adeno-associated virus, or an RAAV, to deliver a therapeutic gene to the muscle to restore the dystrophin gene. Because the dystrophin gene is too large to fit in a single virus, it can only be sent in pieces. The animal most commonly used for this method of treatment is the MDX mouse because it has a spontaneous mutation on exon 23. These mice are simultaneously used for non-invasive management research and analysis through bioluminescence imaging. According to Cornegay, regional limb delivery through intramuscular injections produced low levels of dystrophin restoration. Bioluminescence imaging further showed that the RAAV6 virus caused a cease in disease progression. Using mice allows for rapid testing and easy treatment evaluation. The muscular dystrophy found in dogs was found to be closely related to DMD in humans. As a result, dogs, specifically the golden retriever, were chosen as the basis for treatment research because treatments could better translate to humans. Nonsense mutation uses aminoglycosides to introduce a nucleotide sequence to allow full-length function of the dystrophin despite a premature ending of the codon. Exon skipping is a method of splicing therapy to allow the mRNA to skip the missing exons and allow for normal production of dystrophin. Across the globe, Duchenne muscular dystrophy affects thousands of boys and their families, each desperate for a cure to be found. A mutation on the X chromosome leads to a lack of the dystrophin protein, causing the muscles to become greatly weakened. The symptoms of this disease begin around ages 3 to 5, and many boys also develop neurodevelopmental diseases. As symptoms progress, they can also lead to early death. Successes in research for treatment development may help boys live longer and more normal lives. Marlon Rico Lee once said, "The things you take for granted, someone else is praying for." When thinking about this quote, remember that life is a gift, and that tomorrow, nor the things we have physically or materialistically, are guaranteed. Be thankful for all that you have and all that you are given. Any questions?